Welcome to another new video. In today's video, we'll be looking at Desert Grey. So Desert Grey is the color in the Desert series of super granulation colors that is made by Schmincke Aquarelle. So we have already reviewed so many super granulation colors, and there are actually 5 colors in the Desert series, and grey is one of them. It's made up of 2 pigments, PY159, PBK11. So PY159 is volcano yellow. We have reviewed this several months back, and with BBK11 is Mars black. So volcano yellow plus Mars black give us the Desert Grey. I mix it here. I do find like mine is not so granulating. Perhaps I didn't use enough of the Mars black. Yeah, but you can see that the yellow plus the black gives you kind of a grayish yellow color. Yeah, and if you look at the label on the pen that I have, there is a semi-opaque, semi-transparent color. It has 5-star on the light fastness scale, so it has excellent light fastness. And for staining, it has an opaque triangle, so it is staining. So we will try this out later on with the staining test, scrubbing test, and of course it's granulating, right? Now let's look a little bit. Let's go into a little bit more detail about the swatch first. So when I swatch, I will swatch from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. So we do see like the mass tone, like how opaque and dark it is, and then how diluted it looks, and whether there is like separation or how it looks at a lower concentration. So I also do a test where I check the opacity of the paint. So what I do is I would have the first line is the line drawn onto the paper before I paint it, and that's the line below is the line that I draw after that. So when you compare the blackness, darkness of it, you can actually see if it's like if that is opaque, because if it's opaque, the first line would be kind of covered. I don't see a very big difference. I'm not sure is it because I didn't use enough paint, but I don't really see a very big difference. Maybe there is some coverage, but yeah, it's not very opaque. It's not very obvious, right? And if we look at the paint in water test and the water in paint test, you can see that separation. So the yellow, you see the yellow dropping down, and that Mars black, the PBK11 going around it. So the yellow goes down first, and that black goes around, so it has finer particles. And we look at the water in paint, you see more of that black pushing out in the backflow. Yeah, so let's now try the staining, the scrubbing test. So just take a hard Bristol, like a kind of a synthetic hard Bristol, and kind of just try to scrub out the color yeah, with it. So let's just try to get the water. Yeah, I realized that it's possible actually to get some of that color out, but as compared to other colors that we have in the series, it's a little bit more difficult. I wonder why it is. Yeah, but it's a little bit more difficult than other colors to get out from a dried patch of a paint. And when we look at the gravity test, I don't really see a very big kind of a difference. Although, yeah, you see most of the yellow here, and that black, you can see all those particles just kind of like diffusing out, but not a big separation sometimes in other paints. When we mix this color with the 12 colors of the color chart, you'll see that it behaves like a haze color, where it desaturates a lot of color, where it desaturates the color, makes it more mute and less bright. So most of these colors are single pigment, like saturated bright colors, and you do see that they become really dark after adding it, because you kind of add a yellow to it. So think of it as actually having yellow added and then black added, and you do see that like when you have your grays, when you have your purple color, there's some kind of neutralization, so it becomes a little bit more gray. And the rest, like for example the greens and the greens and the blues, you do get most of them looking a little bit like ashy, like gray, and more olive green color. I quite like some of these yellow, like this is the mustard yellow, looks really nice, but I think this is very common when you add black to stuff. So yeah, not very different from other colors, like the haze, how the haze color actually behaves. So it's pretty similar. And we look at the similar colors. I don't really think you have similar ones because this is a separating super granulation colors separates in a special way. So I don't really think you have a similar color in that sense. But it does, like if you just look at a mass tone, it does look like a little bit more like brownish gray color. In the super granulation Schmincke colors, there are several grays. There is actually two grays, the Shire Grey and the Forest Grey. Shire Grey is more blue, it's like more a blue leaning grey. The Forest Grey is more brown. I say it's pretty close to Forest Grey, except Forest Grey is a little bit more brownish, like, yeah, but if you look at the mass tone, like at the concentrated region, it's pretty close. Maybe at a diluted, if you compare it diluted, it would actually look a little bit different. And it's also, I also did take out the browner because there are many blacks. I think there are about 4 blacks in the super granulation series. Haze black is the most brown of them, and the color, it's actually more black than this desert grey. So Forest Grey is quite close to our desert grey. So would I get this color? My answer is no, because I already have volcano yellow, and Mars black is pretty common. So yeah, I probably wouldn't get it. And there are many of these similar colors like this. I will also say like it's a little bit like sepia, but it's more yellow leaning, and it's also granulating. Right, so let's see what I've done for short front drawing using this color. Hi, so this is what I've done using the desert grey. I use this is one of a cafe. I think it's a cafe or like a bar at night. And what I did with this colors was really just to use it around, because this building is actually white in color. So there isn't there's actually a lot of things you can do, especially if it's a white building, because you can put the colors in the shadow. So in the shadow, you can actually use many colors. I use this color in the shadows. As you can see, this is the color Neat. I did mix it with some other colors to make this, you know, the shadow, like that's like the roof, underside of the roof. And I probably use it Neat in the interior area. So you can really get really like brown, like dark color with it. So most of the shadow I really just use this color, and I think this building I didn't really use a lot of colors. I might actually use probably a little bit of red maybe for some of these, and most of these I actually brought it out using the gouache, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much. This is the end of my video. I hope that you have learned something about the desert series of colors. Yeah, and if you really learned something and you'd like to thank me, give me a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe if you like to see similar content, you know, things like watercolor, about watercolor reviews, paper reviews, paint stuff, urban sketching, setups, stuff like that. All right, so yeah, see you again next week for another video. In the meanwhile, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye.